first of all, let me extend a warm welcome to all the participants today, the prospective students, my colleague Professor Raj Shankar, and our alumni Harneet and Shikha. Rishabh, I think, will be joining us slightly later. So, this is festival time, so I appreciate all of you taking the time to join. And hopefully this would be a productive session. For me personally, all the sessions where we have alumni have been, extremely, enriching in terms of um, going back and seeing the impact we as a school could have, right? And the impact that our own, alumni are having now. So that's quite fulfilling. So it's great to have Harneet and Shikha here. Um, I thi- I think we'll skip the presentation here. I think we'll keep it more interactive and try to spend more time in understanding you know what the program is about and how it can have an impact, and also the journeys of our alumni uh, through their own entrepreneurial ventures. So I think would be more interesting. I would in fact let Professor Raj actually take us through the program. He's all Professor Raj, apart from being a leading professor of strategy and entrepreneurship, he's also hi Rishabh, good to see you.
Hi,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Yeah, we just completed the introduction, so I was about to request Professor Raj to give an overview about the PGPM FPE. So, as I was saying, apart from being an expert in the area of entrepreneurship and strategy, Professor Raj is also the program director for the PGPM, the flagship one-year MBA program, and he's also the program director for the PGPM FPE program, right? Which is um, let's say, a variant of the PGPM itself, right? With a lot of the courses being done commonly for the PGPM and the PGPM FPE students, but also having its own focus through dedicated courses for in the family business and entrepreneurship area, as well as projects and mentorship that we'll talk about more. So, Professor Raj, if you can just give a overview about the program. Um, uh, Post
Yeah,
that, we will straight away get into uh, alumni interaction and Q&A.
yeah. Thanks, Gautam. It's always nice having students with us when we do these calls, because that's the real impact than talking about it. But wonderful to be here. Before I get into the actual curriculum and talking about it, I just want to highlight the fact that in India, the current contribution by entrepreneurs and family business owners is close to about 73-74% of our GDP. So these people are really, really important people, and we need to give them more attention. There's no two ways about it. Second thing is that according to estimates, in the next about 15 years, this is going to only increase to about 86% or something. So by all estimates, this is not going to reduce. So we need more entrepreneurs, we need more family business owners, we need organizations that want to scale, have impact, and so on. And therefore, when we conceptualized this whole program, we said we need to really think about people running these early stage, family owned, family managed businesses during their formative stages. And therefore, the way we've thought of this whole 1 year program is that while we give you the basics, just like all other MBA students, your basic foundation in business, where you'll do your regular courses, right up front, we start with drawing inspiration from senior entrepreneurs as well as leading family business owners. So right from the term one, you start interactions through labs and clinics. So what happens is, as soon as you join the program, you start meeting up with these people. The key is to start understanding the mindset and how do we go about doing this. As you go into term two and still continue learning the foundations of various aspects of the business, finance, marketing, accounting, and so on, you also start networking with people who matter. For example, entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and business leaders, and so on. Slowly, as you kind of come to the end of your foundation part of the course, we shift gears and we say, okay, now it's time for us to understand ourselves, our business, and what's the next stage of growth for us. If you're starting a new business, what's the area in which you want to start your new business? If you're kind of pivoting or trying to grow your family business, is it going to be related, unrelated? Where do you want to really grow? And so we do this kind of self-assessment, and you will have assigned mentors upfront through the course. So these are people with whom you will constantly be in touch, trying to work on this. In parallel, you'll actually do 2 terms of courses where you're just focused on only family businesses and new ventures. So you will talk about how do you professionalize these firms as you scale. What are the aspects you need to consider? You look at how innovation should be practiced, especially in fast-changing firms. You look at family business succession issues, leadership issues if you're in new ventures. You look at internationalizing the family business. Many family businesses run in India. You have scope today to do a lot of international business. And then you do how do you manage decisions during intergenerational conflicts and so on and so forth. And then emerging trends like family offices management. How do you scale enterprises? How do you look at scaling strategies and so on? And through this period, you'll be engaged on working on your own business idea, which means you will assess your business goals, you will assess your business opportunities, you will develop business plans, you'll work on GTMs, you will do your wireframes, you will build your MVPs, you will actually test them, and you will actually launch your business by the time you're somewhere in term 5, term 6. You show us, you hack your way to growth, you show us some early business interest, and by term 7, the idea is that you will pitch this entire idea of business in front of a panel of investors. The intention is not necessarily just to raise money, but it's also to gain legitimacy, confidence that yes, here are my ideas, they're real, and here's the data to show that it's real. So by the time you come to term 6, you have the opportunity to do an immersion. So we'll have a immersion, international immersion, where you will go to Europe or some top university, and where you will get to do some industry interactions, you'll meet entrepreneurs and so on, do a couple of courses. So through the program, the intention is very clear. The intention is to help you identify opportunities for growth, work on your ideas of growth, and use all that you're learning, apply it right then and there. So by the time you're graduating from this program, you're actually, in fact, busy running your business. So that's the goal of the program. And then, yeah, there are other aspects, the unique aspects like mentoring by a dedicated mentor through the program, constant labs where you'll actually work hands-on on various aspects of scaling and testing your businesses and so on. So all of this in all makes it a very unique, hands-on, experiential 1 year where you kind of end. It's not the end actually. By the end of the program, you're actually, you have gotten started. So you're basically running your business full time, and therefore you're like really just off from that place, getting off, and that's where we look at this. So I'll stop there, and then later in the program, if we have questions about these, we can always come back to it. Yeah, thanks, Gautam. That was
Yeah, yeah. Let me also further emphasize that, the experiential part of the program that Professor Raj mentioned, right? Most education in India, right, starting from school onwards, it's all based on, you know, just, information and knowledge sharing, not so much about practicing, right? Not so much about applying in the real world, right? Even at MBA level, that's what is the case, right? But in the PGPM FP, in fact, we had completely redesigned the PGPM itself to have a lot of experiential learning components, labs, workshops, sandbox, and so on. But in the FBE, it's again even more further applied. So I think more than you know it's more than making you learn certain concepts, right? It's about like how do you go about solving problems in the real world, because many of you have actually been in your businesses, right? We already interviewed many candidates for the program. They are running businesses of different sizes. Some of them started going to their companies from the time they got into their first year of undergrad, right? So on paper, the experience is 2 years after MBA, 2 years after undergrad, but in reality, many of the students have worked for 5 6 years now, right? So you already know about your business, but the fact is that a lot of times what happens is that entrepreneurs or family business um, professionals would not have anybody to consult, right? You don't know who to go to, right? You are the boss, right? And everybody would just say yes to you because that's what they think, like, is what you want to hear, right? Uh, so by going through a program like this, it also allows you to reflect on a lot of things that you have done well, or things that actually did not well as you anticipated, right? And see where you have made mistakes, and also allows you an opportunity to learn from that. And having the mentors, whether it's our faculty, whether it's the industry mentors we are going to have in the program, right? Or even interacting with alumni, like what we are doing now, right? All that's an opportunity for you to get feedback, right? And insights, right? Because you need somewhere where you are can you can test your ideas, get feedback, right? And that reduces the chances of the mistakes that you can make, and that allows you to grow further, right? Because there are two ways of learning and growing. One is by making your own mistakes. I would say that that's the highest quality of learning, but it's also the most expensive. Those are the things that you never forget. But that's also not very very scalable. So if some of those mistakes you can minimize by learning things, going about analyzing the situations in a more structured manner with the help of all the training that you have in business school, yeah, that's going to help you reduce the mistakes and increases the chances of your success. And finally, if you have a habit of talking to people, building your network, that's another great way of constantly learning from the experience of others, from their mistakes as well, right? Not just your own mistakes. So the program provides you a platform for all of that. And beyond that, you have the Great Lakes Network. Now, this is the first batch of the PGPM, but we have several alumni who are entrepreneurs, who are part of their own family businesses, right? So they're all very much a part of the Great Lakes Network, and I'm sure you'd get to learn from them during today's session, but also through the program and well beyond the program. Once you have a network, it's for life. It's for you to build on, leverage, as well as contribute to, right? So with that, let me pause here. Let's hear from our alumni, and then we'll go to the Q&A session. What I'd like to do is request our alumni to give a context of their background, when did they do their MBA, and post MBA, the journey in entrepreneurship, right? Harneet, would like to go first with you. So if you can just take us through the journey, that would be great.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Good morning, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be here, sir. Share my journey with such incredible audience, incredible people. A big thank you to you, to Professor Raj Shankar and Great Lakes team for inviting me to share my journey. So, again, hi. I'm Harneet Singh. I'm the founder of Slate Living, a co-living company based out of Noida. So to put it simply, so co-living is, for example, if you take Oyo for an example, so Oyo is a short-term living. It is short-term stays, 1 day stay or 2 day stay. For example, a hotel. So we are a co-living company. We are into long-term stays. We specialize in long-term stays, which is a minimum of 3 months. Minimum of 3 months, ranging to 1+ year also. So our goal is to help working professionals, help students find a perfect place to stay and perfect place to live, and then we spice it up with a little bit of sense of community amongst our tenants. So spicing it up with community means connecting with all of these people, making sure that they connect with each other. They go out on trips, they party together, because when they are in another city or another region, they don't really know anybody else. So forming a community in such a space helps them stay and help them be productive, more productive. So building a sense of community is what we are driving right now. Currently, we are managing some 600 beds across 300 rooms, which are spread across 8 properties. So, and we're growing rapidly. So, moving to my pre-entrepreneurship journey. So, I am a BTech graduate. I've done it from Delhi in IP University. And then I was struggling to find a mark in leadership roles. I did not know what I'm good at. I did not know where my journey is taking me, because I was into all sorts of odd jobs. So there was a job in operations that I was doing. There was a job in associate level job that I was doing. Then there was a sales job that I was doing. Then there was a client servicing job that I was doing. But I did not know where my strength lies. I was not able to understand that for a very long time. So say 5 years. So post 5 years experience, I went in for an MBA. So I'm from class of 2018, 2019. So I'm from that batch. So luckily I got a chance. I interviewed for Great Lakes PGPM program. I luckily got selected, and this is in Chennai campus where I go. There, the experiences were such. The courses, not I would not say just the courses. It was a lot of things that came into place where one gets a realization on what he is good at or what she is good at. So I'd say taking from, for example, looking at marketing classes that were happening, which right now when I look back make a lot of sense. For example, they taught us about detail activities which were not really connectable at that particular moment. I was not able to connect it. Okay, what is BTL and how do we work around it? But now when I look back, most of my sales is coming from BTL and all of the activities that were presented back then. Similarly, earlier Professor Sanjay Sarkar sir taught us about working capital. So not understandable at all at my end, because I was not from finance background, so I had no idea what working capital is, and I was not able to understand a thing. But when I started connecting with the peer group, when I started connecting with the professor, I got to know, okay, working capital is important for the business. But when I run the show right now, I understand how important working capital is in managing a business. So all of these things were taught back then, which might not have that much gravitas in my life back then, but today when I look back, definitely if that was not in place, I would definitely not be where I am today or what I am right now. Apart from this, I'd say it was not just the academic activities. It was a program squeezed out into 11 months or 12 months that we had, the PGPM program. They put you in different situations, whether it be going through events, going through the case studies, going through the lectures, going through the hectic schedule, because that is a part of life. That is, they show you a life in those 11 months. I cannot talk about the current program that they're launching, but my program was all about life. Matlab, 11 months showed me what life is going to be after this. So at that moment, we realized, we were like, it is too much pressure at the moment. We are unable to just think about it, unable to process on what's happening. But one semester, next semester, third semester, and then moving on. And then parties also at the end. So it was a complete circle, a complete life that happened on the campus. Then there were some fun activities that happened, some fun events that took place. Again, being a part of the Great Lakes community and being a part of all of these events taught me on how to get sales done, taught me on how to connect with people, how to make cold calls, which I had not done in my previous career. So getting people on board, getting sponsors on board, managing team of all of these students and outside stakeholder management taught us, got us a hands on how life is going to be after this, or how the actual world works. So that got me into first sense of leadership, or first sense of problem solving, I would say, on how a problem is looked at and how a problem is solved. So this was again taught to me, and lately I've realized post my MBA, or towards the end, I realized that I'm when I was connecting with all of these smart peer groups that I had, people from ops background, people from sales background, people from IT, core IT backgrounds, I realized that I am really good at sales. I am really good at talking to people. Where I was seeing that there are some people who are really struggling on talking to people, I am the one who can really go out, be an extrovert, and talk to people. So I think that was one thing that I've figured out about myself, and it has helped me across my career post that. Talking about post MBA experience, luckily I got a brilliant organization from the campus itself. Zolo Stays was the organization that I was working at earlier. Uh, Brilliant organization. There were some alums also who were a part of Zolo Stays, who started picking us, started talking to us, and started mentoring us immediately. And luckily, I got a chance to work on leadership position on all of these a few top startups. One being Zolo Stays, the other being Cars 24. So being on general manager position and top management positions help you thrive in your career. So that is what I've got from Great Lakes till now. And then post that, I'd say there's a great alum network that is there. So alumni are not even just sharing jobs, not even helping each other in job sharing, job seeking. Uh, I think one alumni is a minimum of one alumni is there in every part of the world. So you talk about the smallest of the smallest countries in this world, you'll find one Great Lakes alum there. So I've seen people texting on WhatsApp that I need information about this country, and then there's somebody who's popping up and saying, "Okay, I'm a part of this country. I can help you out with this." And recently, I'm seeing that people are helping sell concert tickets also. So we are a fun sort of an alum group which is doing all sorts of things, and we are really connected on WhatsApp. We are really connected on all of these platforms that are there, and then events that happen and the alum meets that happen. So these are what excite me the most
Yeah.
and have really helped me. So
So
that's
you've done quite a bit. The 5 years since you graduated, Harneet,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
working in companies, managing at general
General
management
manager.
level, and
Yes,
then obviously that led to being able to set up your own company.
definitely,
Right? We'll talk about a couple of things from that once we go, you know,
definitely.
complete the initial round. One of that is like, the intensity of those 11 months, especially in the context of the current debate, of somebody saying 70 hours, somebody saying 90 hours,
Yeah.
weeks, right? For entrepreneurs, there are no set hours. So
Yes.
we'll talk about that.
Yes.
And so is the experience in the PGPM. There are no set hours of, you
Yes.
know, it's 24 by 7
Yes.
into 11 months, right? So about 330 days.
Yeah.
So that's what people have to sign up for. We'll come to that. Um, Shikar, let me come to you. You've been, uh, you know, there in the industry now for like 9 years post MBA, right? So you just started your MBA journey exactly a decade back. So if you can, and you started your own company. So if you can just take us through your journey.
Sure, sir. My name is Shikha Gupta. I'm the co-founder of Thridify. So basically, I'll first quickly introduce like what is Thridify and what I'm doing right now. Thridify is a cloud-based solution that I have developed for 3D and AR solutions for e-commerce companies. Okay, so if there's any business, let me just tell you more about 3D and AR solutions. Currently, we are when in e-commerce or in any selling in any business who is selling any physical product, we are using mostly images and videos to showcase the products. But more and more as we are going into the digital era, and people are becoming more about not visiting the physical stores, not visiting the like locations, and they have logistical issues, and we see a lot of problems like high returns, and then more expensive, and also there is a cost pressure on the industries to maintain the margins. So this is a solution that can help like to businesses of all sizes and all types of products. What we do is we showcase the 3D models of the products in photorealistic form, in 3D and augmented reality, just through the help of a link. So before this, these types of solutions were only available customized, and it was like because the cost was so high in developing custom solutions that only big businesses and enterprises could do these kinds of features for their products. But this is now we this is an out of the box solution. Anybody can subscribe to it, and it's like a 5 minute integration with any kind of website, any kind of catalog, any PDF, or any print catalog, anything. And basically, you can show any product in 3D in augmented reality as well. And along with that, you can also configure like in e-commerce, you change colors, you see various versions, so you can see everything in augmented reality. For example, if you are trying to buy a furniture, this is like the most important currently, it is for furniture industry. So you've seen that kind of solution in IKEA also. IKEA tried to launch their app Places app, but that was again an app. This is like an app-free solution. So because not every business in India, because we are targeting SMBs, so not every business in India is gonna be ready to create an app for them. So this is, and neither their customers are going to install it, and not every app. So yeah, so basically this is like very easy adoption, and just with the help of QR codes and links, we are trying to enable the businesses to showcase their products much better in a more engaging way, and to become the innovative leader in their industry. So yeah, this is the crux of the business that
Because of what made you get started on an entrepreneurial journey? You've been, to business school, post that, I think about 6 7 years in, I think, Genpact,
yes,
right? So what made you take that leap?
I spent 9 years in Genpact, and there was
Okay.
my journey in Genpact was going very good, and I was very comfortable. But the thing is, it just happened that like last 2 years of my Genpact journey, I was doing a lot of things, and I was also thinking in this direction that I think if I have to start something of my own, this is the time. After 5 years, I'm not gonna be having that energy, and neither I'm not going to have that kind of motivation to do something of my own. So if it was basically that this is now or never kind of a situation, this is the last chance, Shika, that you've got some cap. I had saved some capital, so I thought that maybe if I want to start it right now, I can do it. There was another option. I could have invested in property and I would have continued with my job. I would be very, very honest. And it was very tempting as well. But it was just like, yeah, I mean, I had to do something of my own. I was thinking that I am ready for that, because after 9 years of experience, then before that I had done my MBA, and in from Great Lakes Institute of Management, and it was sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so it was like I had not been able to put everything that I had learned into PGPM in my job, because when you are in a job and also in a multinational company, don't get that kind of an opportunity to like put everything to use. It's becomes more of a, I am very, very sorry.
Um, I think looks like some emergency, so we'll come back to Shika. Um, but yeah, but I think we have Rushabh here. I think Rushabh is now been a regular participant in the webinars. He's almost become an evangelist. So good to see you again, Rushabh. And Rushabh actually comes from a family business background,
Yeah.
right? I think they make a great set of you know products, plasticware,
Household
and
products.
yeah. And the interesting thing is, I think a lot of people think like Great Lakes Chennai would have mostly uh, folks from Chennai, right? But I think that's actually incorrect, right? In our Chennai campus, we looked at how many people are from the state and outside. I think from the state, it's only 20%, right? 80% are from outside the state. The most common language spoken on campus would be Hindi,
Yes.
right? So it's like any top tier campus in the country where you have people coming from all over the all parts of the nation, right? So even today's webinar, Harneet and Shikha are based out of Delhi NCR, right? And Rushabh, you are based in Chennai, right?
No, Mumbai.
Mumbai, sorry, Mumbai, but you're pretty strong in South, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
right? That's the geography where you are a leading player. So yeah, actually, there's nobody from Chennai, right? Except Professor Raj. So we have alumni, as Harneet also mentioned, that we have them across the world and
Yes.
definitely across the country. So Rishabh, over to you.
So yeah, my name is Rushabh Jain. I come from family business. I've done my PGDM from 2022-24. I passed out last year. My journey was quite interesting. A lots of learning, a lots of ups and downs. It was a family business. Sometimes it was like I have to go to my family business in from campus in middle of my classes. So it has been very tedious for me. Yeah, it was very quite interesting for me because I had one guru, Raj sir. From the day one I met him, I started taking mentoring from him. He was my mentor from day one to day last. He told me about each and everything. He guided me through each and everything. What is business? What is family business? What are the key points I should learn? I still remember and I still applying that. He just said me one thing, you just need to put right people at the right place. So coming to this, I'll give a small brief regarding my business, my family business. So we are a leading manufacturer of household products, thermoware products, like casseroles, water bottles, tiffin, lunch boxes, uh, as we use day to day in our home, 24 hours hot and cold bottles, normal fridge bottles. So we manufacture this. We have a manufacturing unit in Daman, which is in 15 acres of land and 2 lakh square feet of unit. Uh, I'm the third generation in this business. So I had no option. I'm the eldest one, so I had no option to go to any PPO, choose any PPO. My father just straightly told me, there is no turning back, son. There is no turning back. I still remember I texted him sitting in our resource center at 11:30 in the night, and I told him I got PPO, and he was like, son, there is no turning back. I'm sorry. And yeah, it was a harsh reality, but I don't regret it because whatever I've learned from Great Lakes, I made sure that I'll put each and everything into my business. So I never regretted it. I'm not still regretting it because I think that post my PGDM, I was no one. What a businessman should look like. Well, the one question people ask me, what is your qualification? Then I started preferring for GMAT. I started preferring for CAT, and yeah, Great Lakes. I found Great Lakes. I think my destiny was there only. I learned a lot of things, as Harneet said. Working capital. It is really important that you learn each and every basic thing from an MBA school. You start connecting dots. If you don't connect the dots, you will never learn anything. Right? It's a day-to-day example. For me, that was a day-to-day example. That was for me was what is EBITDA, I don't know. I came to know when I joined my Great Lakes, when I joined my classes, what is liquidity ratio, how to calculate it, how to calculate inventory days, how fast you should liquidate your inventories, how it's affecting your profitability. Lots of things. If it's not only about just taking the classes, if you really want to learn, start implementing it in your day-to-day life, which I already did. Right. In my marketing metrics classes, there were lots of matrices which we were taught by Shriram sir. Great faculty indeed. Lots of calculations you will get to know. Right. Uh, from digital marketing classes, coming from a family business background, my family was not aware of any digital world. We were my father and my grandfather were old school thought. So they were like, हमारा business अच्छा चल रहा है, we are doing good, we are making good profit. Why to increase people and why to increase expenditure? Why overheads for them? I was like, no, it is really important because this industry is doing quite well, right? So I introduced digital marketing, I introduced e-commerce, but the challenging part is to make them understand why it is important. They won't understand. It's in the family business, the culture, traditions, and value first, and the most important, legacy matters a lot. They don't want any third generation on any, and I'm MBA. They're like, you तू तेरे घर पे होगा MBA, but here you are a family business person. So they don't want to hurt any of their tradition feelings, the legacy which they are bringing from past 30 years. So it's very important for a family business to pass on the legacy. They really want me to pass on my legacy to my next generation, my next generation. So it's very important to control and understand the values, the tradition and culture in a family business. you need to give some good examples why you really want to implement it. You might have very good ideas. You might be a very good MBA student. You have done a lot of things. You might be coming from even though I my father was like, you go to a good company, learn there for 2 years, come back. I was like, no, I don't want to waste my 2 years. Sometimes it's like you why to go there for 2 3 years and coming back again? Why I can't be here in 3 years and I can do something good? So I started doing that. It was really important. So traditions, cultures, it's really important in family business, and in India it's really important because in small things we find happiness, and doing a business in India, it's all about maintaining relationship. We I'll give a small this thing. We follow distribution channel. We are the manufacturer. We give to the distributors. Distributors then give to the retailers and to end users. So we follow this structure. And I found that how it is important to maintain a relationship with a distributor, right? No matter he'll pay me in 120 days or 160 days, not even something. Sometimes it's like he will not even pay in me 260 days or even a year. But the thing is, he will pay me money, I know, because there is a relationship. I found this that from my uncle that it is very important to maintain a relationship in India, and without relationship, you cannot run the business. It's not always about money, right? So you have to understand the sentiments and feelings of the person who is sitting after you, like in front of you. And if you understand it quite well, you will definitely win the opportunity. As it says that India has a eye-watering challenges and mouth-watering opportunities in it. It's really true. It's really very harsh that it's really giving me mouth-watering opportunity when I go to the market and see that, yeah, it's really so big. This market is really big, and we're not able to do that. Why? Every morning my question comes to me, why this thing is not happening? Why people are choosing to go out of India and do something? Why? It's an India. Your business has endless opportunities. I really visited last week Amazon office, where I was called for an webinar on advertisement. We were doing good on like my growth was 300 plus percent in terms of sales in just a single year. So they asked me to come there, what strategy we used, what sort of things I planned. I was like, "Okay, advertisement plays a very important role, right? Marketing activities plays a very important role. Like how been my brand name is Good Day. So when it comes to someone's here that Good Day, are you a biscuit? Are you a Britannia brand? No, I'm not a Britannia brand. I'm a Good Day smart homeware where you keep your where you day, it's a day-to-day use, not an perishable product, it's a usable product. So it is still challenging for me to get out of this thing. But yeah, as Raj sir also told that internationalizing family business, it is really very important. Everyone in the family business should focus on certain sectors. But again, I'll say that donkeys, uh, if the leader is donkey, then everyone will follow the donkey. As my father always told me, if a family business, you should have a wide angle, not just you are buying to look at one thing. There is a lot of things: there's finance, marketing, operations, sales, back office. What sort of things are not there? Even you have to learn that. So post MBA's journey was like I was having lots of ups and downs. I started doing law, I started doing CFA. I don't know what to do. Then I thought that let's go and do an MBA. It was like just a fluke. I don't wanted to do. I gave my GMAT, I gave my SAT, I gave my GRE, I gave IELTS. Every exam I could give in that 2 years. I gave every exam, and yeah, it was a roller coaster journey, and ended up in Great Lakes. It's a good institution, no doubt. I learned a lot of things, a lot of good faculties, no doubt. Yeah, last webinar I told that don't judge faculties, please. You don't have any rights to judge any faculties and any other things that they teach. It's just you have to implement your own things. Yeah.
So
So
Rishabh, you just graduated last year, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me give that context because you talked about quite a few things now. You got, I'd say, a lot wiser in
Yeah.
in a couple of years, or less than that. So I think, yeah, I think you mentioned a couple of important things, especially about negotiating the uh, family business dynamics, right, which are internal, right? There will be always resistance to change, right? And we have specific courses for that, right? Professor Raj, maybe you want to talk about them, because that's a very important component that is not taught in a general management MBA, right? Where it's all about marketing, finance, and all of that, right? A general MBA would not talk about, like, how do you deal with your, parents, grandparents, or how do you, like, safeguard your business for the future generations. So those are all certain things which are very unique to the family business program. Professor
Yeah.
Raj.
Very, very interesting. I mean, every time we listen to Rishabh, I'm like making notes actually these days because I'm thinking, yeah, this guy is, yeah, he's telling us a lot of things very quickly. So you seem to be going through a lot of experiences. I can see that. Um, uh, so one of the things we notice is, and I think we talk constantly to our alumni, like Rishabh and others. So we hear about what are their real challenges, and we understand that multiple generations today jointly make decisions in business. And that's not unusual in a family business. And when you have multiple generations with very, very different outlooks, so in India, in the 80s, 90s, in India today is so different that your mindsets are so different. So the resource allocation strategies and everything is kind of different. So therefore, we introduce a couple of interesting subjects. One of them is actually how do you manage intergenerational conflicts, not in terms of conflicts between people. It is in terms of conflicts about their views to decisions. So, for example, should we do this business or not? Should we allocate resources to this activity vis-a-vis some other activity? And like what Rishabh said, this person is not paying. In a typical professional company, if the OCC goes beyond 260 days, you might want to stop giving stock and so on. But then after discussions, I know personally in Rishabh's case and also in some other cases, where the decision is no, let's continue to keep the relationship because these are friends. I mean, they have been with us for 30 years. Now, this is not traditional decision. So how do you manage these at home? So we brought that. Second is running a family office again with multiple generations sitting on it. Should we invest in this AI startup? I mean, if you ask your granddad, he would say you must be crazy. I can't even see any product there. And then you're like trying to convince him that there's actually returns on it. So how do you and as you said, Rishabh, he has this clear understanding of business, but how do you convince him to see it? And so Rishabh's using analogs, cases, and so on to convince them. So we introduce cases around how do you design and manage such offices? How do you manage succession? It's not just the senior giving to the junior, it's about also the next generation. How do you deal with your seniors? So, for example, what's the maturity you show towards traditions? How do you respect and change at the same time? So we have courses around, how do you use paradox theory to kind of handle this? How do you handle this hybrid situation? So we've introduced a few unique courses. So intergenerational conflicts, designing and managing family offices, succession planning. And then very interestingly, we also said, okay, despite all of these things, you have to innovate and professionalize your family business. So you don't have a choice. So while you respect all the past and everything, you still have to do something new in the future. So you're going to have a bunch of courses which make you do both these things. And then, of course, internationalizing is a in general, we talk a lot in our PGPM about international business strategy anyway, but here we focus a little bit on how family business can do that a little bit differently. So we have even more deep thinking about where to go, where not to go, and so on and so forth. So, and then I think one last course that we thought a lot and then we added was the scaling of family businesses. I think all family businesses in India want to grow, and as I think Rishabh captured very well, this is the time to be in India. I think the nation is just growing. So how do family businesses which have remained conservative suddenly start thinking about how to be entrepreneurial with regards to these opportunities? And so there can be a disciplined entrepreneurship as what they teach at MIT and they even have a course by that name. And sometimes I think it's an oxymoron, but then there is still a interesting thing to it. How do you practice disciplined entrepreneurship? So those are the courses. These are very, very unique. And as Gautam said, These are not typically taught in most MBA programs. So we've kind of curated these courses so that our next gen family owners as well as entrepreneurs have unique perspectives, which give them the advantage in a fast growing country like India. The market is really fast paced. So yeah, that's some things, Gautam. And also the idea that you already shared that many of these courses will be hands-on. So which means you're not sitting and listening to somebody talk. You're actually participating. You're testing it on your business, coming back to class and having discussions with the faculty. Hey, you told me this, it's not working. What should I do? Not sit and just take notes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me sum up a few key themes that have come out, right? One is, you know, the learning is intensive in the 1 year program, right? And we'll talk about, whether running a business is intensive. I think everybody knows the answer is yes. So the program helps you prepare for that. Second, I think, uh, especially some of these important concepts, right? Financial concepts, right? Being able to deal with working capital, right? Liquidity, right? And being able to put numbers to them, right? Look at them in a systematic, structured manner, right? That enables you to have a lot more financial discipline, which is very important. That's something people tend to oversee, right? Entrepreneurs, especially, you're much more focused on the product and the market. But at the end of the day, you need money in the bank to have a runway, right? And ultimately, your investors look at that, how well you're managing it, right? Even if you're making a loss, it's not just about profit and loss, right? It's about how well you're investing the resources that you have. Third, I think, if you are, uh, a family business, I think, um, um, you have all these challenges of doing things differently. So if you want to scale it up, if you want to get out of this inertia of, things are all going fine, we are nicely coasting at, like, 60 kilometers per hour. So do you want to, like, try something that gets you to 90 kilometers per hour, right? How do you convince, right? The risk of it, right? So dealing and negotiating that, and how a 24-year-old or a 25-year-old can convince, a 70-year-old grandfather, right, that they can do things differently, right? Not an easy job at all, right? So those are some of the interesting things that came out. Earlier we lost Shika, but Shika, I think, one of the things that we have as part of the program is basically taking our students through the 0 to 1 journey, or rather, at least till the, um, you know, from the idea to investment stage. So we have a structured experiential journey, right? Where, in a term, people are looking at, avenues to explore it. Most of the students come from family businesses, so they already have some background, but looking at, let's say, new business ideas, right? It could be about growth in their existing business, or it could be a new business. Second is working on the idea to, like, actually have like a viable product, right? Identifying what is the use case and all of that, and then launching it, and then actually, like, pitching it to investors in the last term. So we are actually making it about as close as possible to actually building a business, right? As part of the program, you've been through that journey of, starting from scratch. Of course, you had some savings. That's what you said. You were leveraging to, build a startup, right? So what is the journey like, right? You want to be an entrepreneur, that's very clear. And this is a great time in this country to be an entrepreneur or take risks, even existing family businesses, because the markets are all aligned, right? No other time or place to be an entrepreneur, right, on this planet. So you took the plunge, but what was the process like in terms of, and the challenges, and the learning?
So, sir, the process definitely was like not straight. I knew something had to be done, and I had some learnings from my PGPM program, from my my 9 years career in Genpact after the PGPM. So had some insights, had like slight idea of how things are done, like when we are actually trying to run a business. But seriously, even then, I did not know what was the line that I had to choose. So I tried a couple of things and failed at them as well. So that came with a set of failures also, because I did not have any business, family business. Though my father is a businessman, but that is not something that I could get involved into. So I had to start my own, and nobody actually knew that I will be starting something. So I started the star. I tried my hand at IT staffing. I tried my hand at freelance IT projects, and all those things, but nothing panned out as a business. And in my mind, I was like trying to, my mind was going towards that. Okay, I think I need to do something product related. I have to create a product. Service is not a business. I have to create an IT product. This much was clear, that I had to get into IT, because that is what I've been doing for like my entire like professional journey. So I got this idea from a prospective client only, that can you do this for us as a project? And I said, why not? Even when I did not have any like XYZ idea of this 3D world. Uh, but then, like, after this requirement, I tried to research and everything, and then we created a product. And we actually tried to sell him, and he said that no, I don't want it anymore. But then I thought that I have already invested in it, and I have to, now create. I mean, I was now invested in the idea from my mind, because I had put in so much research and so much ideation and vision into this, that I wanted to create it as a product. So I would say, like, to run a family business or any startup, even if you're starting from scratch, family business is a privilege. If you have a like a setup business, and you actually or you also have mentorship from your family and from the education that you have got from the MBA program, that you can then you have to enhance it. It's even more challenging also, because everything is built up. Now you have to add your own flair to something which is already set up. That also comes with a lot of challenges. But starting from scratch, the biggest challenge is that, apart from the education that you have got, and from the professional work experience that you got in your job, you don't have anything to bank upon. So I think the Great Lakes MBA program, the PGPM program, it actually, as Harneet said, that it actually prepared me for that kind of a life. I mean, I knew that it would be very, very hectic. I would be working like all day long, no Sundays, no Saturdays, like in our PGPM program, that we are like, one assignment is done, second is due tomorrow 12 a.m., then the next is due tomorrow 12 a.m. It's basically it's a never ending journey. And your this I was also a PGPM student, 2014-15, 1 year batch. So it was like all the knowledge is has been semesters, semesters, and assignments. So it's so hectic, and even then enjoyable, and you're still motivated to do more and more and more. Uh, so I think it prepared me for this kind of a challenge, because in job you are more like you have like a 9 to 5 kind of a thing. Then after, once you switch off your laptop, you are back to your family life. Then you'll all handle all the issues the next day. But when it is your own business, you have to be on toes all the time. Even if you get a message at uh, 12 a.m. in the night, and you're sleeping, and that pinged, and you will have to look at it. What is it all about? So that kind of it need that kind of mindset needs preparation. And I think PGPM program, it actually prepared me for this. And plus the basics, the foundation, finance foundations. Because even if we are motivated, and even if we want to do a lot, and we'll learn a lot of things when we are doing them, but there are certain things that you cannot uh, you cannot take a risk upon, which is finances, because you cannot do anything without money. So I believe that even if I did not do a CA, I was a science I took science in school, then BTech graduate. So there was no particular finance foundation. So I think the principles of finance and business combined, that I got from PGPM, it helped me a lot to sustain with a limited capital, to which which required it was an intensive capital intensive business, so it helped me actually to manage my finances in such a way that I could also get the product developed and also sell it, and like I could do my gradual growth of starting from scratch while maintaining that finance and not being like in mid, I mean, I was not stuck anywhere, so I could do a good financial planning of my business with due to that.
Yeah.
So I think yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's never going to be a straight path. So, but yes, I think you still have to thank your first client, who never paid, but got you
It
to
is
get
always
create the product.
absolute. The first client is always, very important. My first client who did not buy it was the motivation behind the entire idea.
Right. Right. So
And
Harneet, yeah, sorry. Um,
Yes, sir.
Harneet, you moved into a very different space right now. Typically, most MBAs, think of being in the services area, right? Being in large MNCs, consulting firms, and all of that, right? Um, how's it working in the brick and mortar space? Literally, you're in co-living spaces,
Co-living spaces. Yeah, yeah.
right? In fact, I've been through that journey when we started the Gurgaon campus. I was perhaps taking care of all aspects apart from the non-academic in the non-academic areas, including the hostels, which we didn't have a campus in, so it had to be third party and dealing with all the issues there. So what were the challenges that you faced setting up a new business? Of course, you had some experience from your past stints, but what was the journey like the first year or so?
No, definitely.
And
I
I think now
had.
you have some 7, 8 properties. That's what I
Yeah, yeah,
could
we
see.
have 8 properties. We have 300 rooms across Noida.
And this all built up in what span of time?
This was done in, I'd say, some 1.5 years, not more than that.
So in 1.5 years, you could get to about 8 properties or
Eight
so.
properties. Yes,
And
yes.
what's the plan for the future, like next one
So
year?
we'll be doubling the portfolio in the next 1 year. So this 2025 December, we're just planning that we should double the portfolio. So that is what we have been doing for the last 1.5 years. Every 6 8 months, we double the portfolio.
Sure. And I'm
So
sure the first couple of properties would be a lot more challenging than the next 10 properties. So so
definitely,
so so yeah, tell us about that experience.
definitely. So I definitely had experience prior to what I started. So I had a few connects, I had a few contacts, I knew a few people. Uh, Getting my first property definitely was a challenge when you're nobody in the market, when you don't have any substantial thing to substantial thing to show. For example, if you're working for a brand, you can definitely portray an image of the brand, that this is the brand that I'm working for and they have some 200 properties and this is happening. But when you're working alone, you're nobody, you cannot show them the backing also, that you'll be able to pay the rents also, you'll be able to run the show. It is very difficult to project that image. So I think it is the personal uh, character that you've built in over the last maybe 10 years, 15 years of your professional journey or learning experiences that you had, that you put it out to your first client or maybe the first property owner that we pitched to. The confidence that we gave it to him was all the prior experience summed up into that one pitch that we made it to him, that just trust us, and we've been through a lot and we've seen a lot of things. And it is we definitely knew it will not be an easy journey, but it is this difficult, we did not think. So it is really difficult to, it is initially it is very romanticizing that okay, let me enter entrepreneurship, it'll be fun, it'll be good. But when you have to work day and night and there are no Sundays and there are no Saturdays, and people ask me, what do you do in your leisure time? And I tell them there's no leisure time for an entrepreneur. It is just working and working and working and just building up your team, meeting targets every single month. So it has been a great journey, but a really really tough one. But I think times now, when once you're done with your first year, 1.5 years, then I think it becomes very easy because things start compounding. So we're just waiting for that compounding to happen and then doubling our portfolio. So that's it from what I've experienced over these last 2 years.
So, Harneet, what unique USP you have given in market as compared to the largest competitors? Because the
Yeah.
school living space business is like booming
Yes.
nowadays because
Yes.
there are lots of students who really want to study going out of the house. far away from the family, finding a good place to live. As I was doing my internship in Chennai, I was really finding that what good living space I should look for there, where I will be getting good food, because I come from a West India place where I don't eat non-veg, and in Chennai it was very difficult to find good food for a
Yeah.
vegetarian. My normal appetite is not dosa, idli, vada, but still, it was really hard, and to live in a small space, and also a very language barrier was also there.
Yes. Yes.
So, as a student, what do you think unique USP you give?
So what we figured out was, so there were two markets that were running. One was the lowmost market in less than 6,000 bracket. So a bed costing you less than 6,000. So that was a market that was running, and it was all saturated. Then there was another market by all of these premiumized players who were running at maybe 12,000 plus beds. So we figured out that okay, 6,000 less there is there, 12,000 plus is there, but there's nobody in between. There's nobody in 10,000 range. There's nobody in 9,000 range. There's nobody in 8,000 range. So we figured that out. We figured out a product that will not be entering these spaces because these are already very crowded. Both of the spaces, the upper one and the lower ones, are both very crowded. So we figured out that okay, in Noida we were able to find that this particular range is not there. And if I'm not uber premium, I'm not willing to pay 12,000, 13,000, or I'm not willing to go down to maybe 6,000. I need something in between. So we need to figure out a product for something in between. Then we figured out that okay, we need to take decent assets and plug and play decent furniture in the buildings, not the best premium furniture that is out there, or not the worst furniture that is out there, a very decent sort of a furniture, and then premiumizing the properties just by investing in the asset a bit. So I think that is the product that we just figured out, and it has really worked for us. uh, from one property to maybe eight properties, this is what we have learned so far, that this is the niche that we want to cater to. And currently we see that okay, there are a lot of players also now entering this space, so people are trying to crowd this space as well. But we really try our best to be just ahead of the competitors that are out there. But in this particular space, I'd say we are the ones who are just running in this particular uh, price range that is there.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
I would say that while an MBA is not needed to figure that out, what
Yes.
an MBA does is help look at the market landscape and all in a very structured manner, right?
Yeah.
And think of strategies, like plan things, right? That's where it helps compared to what people typically do, which is based on intuition, right? I feel, right? A lot of time people make decisions based on what I feel, right? So I think going through rigorous training, right, where everything you have to justify, where we have to debate it logically, whether it's in case studies or in presentations during the MBA program, that perhaps helps in thinking in a little more structured manner and being able to justify in a logical manner rather than saying that it's what I feel, right? Yeah, so I think while there is a art of management, right, which perhaps many business families inherently have. And I can see, like, if you take any cross section of entrepreneurs, you will find a Gupta, Agarwal, or Jain, right? So in our panel also we find that, right? Because that's a generational knowledge that's passed on, and also the cultural values, right, which put entrepreneurship on a pedestal, right? Versus, let's say, you take certain segments, especially let's say South, or some other segments, you know, getting a good job, stable job, right? That is seen as the highest endeavor, right? Or in some communities, it's about education, which is like, qualifications, right? You'll see two masters, a PhD, right? So that becomes the thing that is most respected and having a halo, right? Like Rishabh's case, the family wanted them back in the business, right? In other cases, they say, okay, you'll go work, and maybe once I'm ready to retire, you can perhaps come back a short while before that, right? So it matters, but I think what the MBA does is obviously give you a structure to approach problems in a systematic manner. And also, I think where you have to independently negotiate, within the family also, I think it's going to help when you project things in a very logical manner, back it up with data, back it up with, insights from other professionals, right? See what other companies are doing, not just look at your business from the perspective of solving a particular customer need, existing need, but also what would be the evolving need be, right? Perhaps tie it to the economy of the country, right? That has a massive impact, right? In terms of being a $1,500 per capita economy versus a $3,000 per capita economy, the kind of expenditure that goes on, the kind of consumer demand that comes in would be very different, right? Like Harneet mentioned, right? A 6,000 room segment may be the dominant one at one point,
Yes.
but that won't be the dominant point, a few years down the line. Just like in cars, for example, Maruti is not having the highest selling model in the country
Yes.
right now after like
Yes.
50 years, right? They did not perhaps invest in time. They are happy that they are having all these small, cheap hatchbacks. They thought that's where the market is, right? But now I think Tata Punch, which is a little more
Yes.
stylish, kind of mini SUV, that has taken the cake, right? So nothing is permanent. So anticipating the needs as the economy changes, connecting it to that, that's important. Can't be just this is my business, this is what I keep doing.
I would
Um,
want to add something,
yeah,
Gautam, sir. I'm really sorry to interrupt. So, when you're talking about all of these cases of Tata Punch and the bed that things are moving up and per capita is increasing, so when we are in this MBA program, we see case studies coming our way. Case studies ranging from what went great in a business, what went good in a business, what went ugly in a business. So we have seen case studies on Nokia, what went wrong with them. We have seen case studies on Yahoo, what went wrong with them. We have seen case studies with Starbucks, what went great with them. So I think all of these currently, if I see a business owner, family business owner, they have their blinkers on with just focusing on their business and maybe not really focusing on what the competitor is doing or what an outside world is doing. So I think bringing in all these case studies and sitting with these smart people, some 6 or 7 smart people, and then obviously the faculty and the entire group of people, 450 people class. So sitting with all of these people and then discussing on a case, on a particular company, on a particular organization, on what went wrong and what went right. I think that opens up and that just removes the blinkers on your head. And one thing that I would want to add is so they used to shut down the assignment upload window right at a particular point of time. I think I don't really remember. It was I think 12 o'clock in the midnight or some 11
Yeah,
eleven
yeah.
thirty.
Cam.
है So there's something like that. So when we look back and we see that okay, there was some seriousness in submitting a particular assignment. Similar thing happens when you're talking with your clients. So you cannot mess it up. If somebody has asked you for a quotation, you cannot mess it up. If it is EOD, it has to be EOD. It has to be 11, 11:30, 11:59 max. So I think that seriousness is what brings the entire system into you. So that
Harneet, I'm just tempted to say something. Sorry. Now
sure,
that you
sure.
brought cases, so one of the things actually this is we've actually done, and since you bring the idea of Nokia and failure, and so in entrepreneurship, what we now do is we teach the Nokia failure, which is the traditional case, and then after a few years, how Nokia has actually stood back on its feet again. So that's the new case. So
Yes.
the whole journey. So we are actually teaching what goes wrong, what went in between, and then what actually triggered this rise again. So that's one. And second is we also ensure that this balance between classic cases and contemporary cases have now been made even more, stringent. So students get to see what are those classics, you really like what you mentioned, which you remember for life. And then there are very contemporary cases. So, for example, something going on now, students need to know about the industry, about the opportunities. So, for example, healthcare as a sector. So, we introduce cases where there's huge sectoral opportunities. So, we try to also balance that. So, thanks. You brought this really, really cool thing in. And I wish my students were here today because they should hear this 11:59 means 11:59. So, when you're on campus, I'm sure you didn't appreciate it or didn't like it so much, but But thanks for bringing it up. It's so important. Yeah, thanks,
So
thanks.
I like to add one point on Harneet's point where he said about like competitive activities where family business. Yeah, he's totally right that family business don't even look after competitive activity. It's really important to look after what is going in the world, what competitors are doing, because there is a certain mindset which is like I'm doing good. I don't have to see others. I don't have to look at others what they are doing. My product is good, we just have to do good, that's it, and whatever we are doing is good. No, this is not a really good mindset, because as we are the upcoming generation, we know what is competition. And as Harneet said, it's really important to teach family businesses to understand that competition is really healthy way to grow, right? It's not an unhealthy way, but it's really an healthy way. They won't as a live example, we have a factory in Daman where there are other manufacturers as well, but now they are enlarging themselves. They are coming close to us, so it's like they are harassing us mentally, but not in terms of market. I told my parents as well that they are coming close to us. They are bringing their factory close to us, means they are really attacking us from front, not from the market. When they will come, we'll have to hit them hard and we have to grow. There is lot of opportunities for them if they are coming so close to us that we are staying here and they are staying here. That would be a very, very bad phase that's going to come. And it's like they really harass mentally. These people have the tendency to harass mentally. So it's like competition is very healthy, and we have to look the competitiveness in the market, and family business should look after the competition. It's not like we are doing good, we are doing that. Innovation is also important. Looking at the competitors' product, bringing them, analyzing them, studying them, and making it something new and pushing it in the market, which is product, which it will be called as a product market fit for new season. So yeah, it is important to understand the competition.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think competition is important. I think scouting for opportunities, I feel, is equally or more important because the competition becomes obvious. Right? As you said, they can be in your face literally.
पूरा खराब
But I think opportunities of entering new segments, premiumization as incomes grow, those are all like very secular trends. Right? As the economy is growing, right? And we have seen, how many companies adapted to that, right? You now have, companies like Mahindra and Mahindra doing extremely well, right? They could innovate, face competition, grow, and they are now, similarly Tata also entered EVs for the first time. But if they were only worrying about their competition, they would have perhaps not done that, right? So I think it's important. That's where I think in a business school you're used to looking at things from multiple dimensions, right? You're not only narrowly looking at one aspect, right? What is immediate, right? You do a structured analysis, right? When you do a SWOT analysis, you look at your strengths, weaknesses, right? Opportunities, threats, right? These are all frameworks which help you, look at all dimensions than what is in your front, what is your immediate worry, right? So I think there are few questions. Let me address them. I think some of them I think are related to the general management program as well. I think Pragati has a question on what field I should choose, whether marketing, finance, analytics. So in the FBA program, there are no individual specializations because you have to be a business owner. You have to know everything, right? So it's basically customized for a owner versus somebody who's going to be a professional in, starting their career in a finance, marketing, or one of those things. If you're part of the general management program, of course you can select a major, minor in one of these areas, right? Now there is nothing like you should be choosing a marketing or a finance, right? It completely depends on what you're good at, right? So you should do a SWOT analysis for yourself, right? What are your strengths, weaknesses? Where do you think the opportunities are? Right. So I think that is something. And the good thing is in the PGPM program, the first three terms are common, right? You learn every single aspect of the program: marketing, finance, operations, economics, right? Strategy. All of the courses are there. Then you choose what is that you want to take. So you don't have to actually decide right now, right? Most people who do an MBA won't have exposure to more than one area, right? If at all they have exposure to the management area, right? Many could be just in something which is very narrow, like, you're coding or like, something else, or working on a factory, not necessarily the management space. So it's okay if you don't know what you want to do, as long as you want to, as long as you're clear that you want to be managing things, managing people, right? Working on the business side, if that's interests you, you can choose your specializations later on. Questions on some GDPI calls and all. Tushar, I think those will all be communicated with the admissions office. That's not the purpose of the webinar here. So you can write to the admissions office on, we'll be updating you ourselves. So don't, you don't have to reach out on this, right? I think as the team keeps communicating regularly, as and when, we are ready to give a call, it will go to all the students. Akash has a bunch of questions. 4.5 years in IT, 35 years old with a family business, first generation family business, and wants to go back after MBA immediately to the family business. Um, Akash, I think obviously for you, the FPE would be better because you're already in a business, you want to go back to the business. So this program will obviously give you a lot more of directly usable and relevant, uh, uh, you know, um frameworks. It will give you the networking. It will allow you to apply what you're learning in your business context, right? So it's rather than the general management program where it's essentially preparing you to take up, one of the management roles, functional roles that most MBAs start with post their MBA, right? So this the FBE program would be the far better option for you. The program is offered in our Chennai campus only. Right. So that's addresses your second question. The PGPM FP would be offering you the same certificate as the PGPM. It's essentially like a variant and a specialization, right? So there's no difference between the PGPM and the FP certificate. It's as per AICT, it's a postgraduate certificate in management. It's an approved program. Uh, in terms of class diversity, I think we already discussed about that. The PGPM class itself has a massive amount of diversity. There are students from across the country. And the best part about the FPE cohort is that one, you are part of the larger PGPM class where you'll have professionals from every industry, every background. Of course, a lot more come from the tech space. But then if you remove that 50% of them who are 60% of them who are like engineers or from IT, you still have about, about 100, 150 students who come from almost every other segment of the industry, right? Now you take a lot of courses, almost, I think 65% of the courses with them, but you are also having your 35% of the courses or the experiential aspects, which you are doing within the PGPM FP specific cohort, right? There again, we have business owners, coming from different industries, right? Bunch of them from manufacturing, right? Typically, we have somebody from the, let's say TMT bars, that kind of space. We have somebody who's running one of the largest, uh, corporate travel agencies, the massive taxi fleet in Maharashtra, right? So like that, we have different businesses, right? So it's going to be again very diverse people from all over the country and all kinds of industries. So I think we are already about an hour and a half in. We'll take another 5 to 10 minutes to wrap up, and I think I want to pose the question to all of you, right? Maybe one or two. You know, I'm sure there are many things that you can advise on, but like your top 1, 2 things that you think all these guys should do, focus on in their business school in their 1 year, right? The 1 or 2 tips or guidance or advice that you think would help them. So maybe Shika, you can go first. Yeah, you're the senior most.
Okay. So I would suggest that my key takeaway from my MBA program was, one is like that I was able to, do a wide angle view of the entire situation and then also narrow down to the problem. So that kind of a skill you should always you get that kind of a thought process from an MBA, which is what I think is very important when you are going to run your own business, that you have to have a 6,000 feet view of the entire situation of the entire landscape. So first you have to get that kind of an understanding, that what is exactly the entire landscape doing, what, where are my competitors, where is the market potential. To understand all those things from a broad perspective, you need that kind of a view. And then you should also have the ability that once you have those pointers in their own space and you have created your own landscape, then you're able to narrow down and get your hands dirty to a single problem as well, and to become an expert in that. So generally what happens is that either you have a wide angle view or you have a narrow angle view, but you, as an entrepreneur, you need to have both views. Only then you can run your business successfully. So this is one big takeaway. Second, I think from an MBA program that you get is the network. So when you get in touch with like-minded 200, 300 people of your batch, of the senior batch, of the junior batch, and then you get into that community, even if you had not had a chance to talk with them in your MBA tenure, but because of the virtue of being part of a such a big alma mater, you get to know people from batches. You get the opportunity to connect with future batches and the past batches and your current batch as it is. You get into that network of like-minded, high potential people where everybody's ambitious and everybody is professionally growing in their lives, which is, I think, one of the most important asset that you get out of an MBA. And I think this is what Uncle Bala also said, that your network is your net worth. This is was his like pet line. Then the third thing that I think that the key takeaway, obviously apart from the education and apart from the fundamentals that you get to understand from MBA, is that you get a practical approach. You are not that, because when you are running a family business or when you are running your own business, you tend to get emotional about your business. Since we have worked so hard and we have invested so much into our own business, our thought process, our everything becomes emotional and attached and biased towards our own product, towards our own offering. And but as a business owner, you always have to have that uh, detachability, I would say, a sense of detachment from your own products and from your own business, so that you can also become the devil's advocate and see what are the gaps or what are the shortcomings of your product, and is it still relevant in the market, or you need to grow or you need to diversify. Because that angle, that thought and that angle can only come with a sense of detachment. And MBA teaches you, because when you study those case studies, that big that like market leaders, world leaders in their own domain, and then they become completely out of picture, then they become irrelevant in their businesses. It comes because you become too much involved in your own product and you don't think about like how the market is growing, how the things are changing, how the environment is changing. So all those things, I think the biggest takeaway is the thought process, this structured way of thinking, and being unemotional about, I would not say unemotional is the wrong word. I think it is more about being taking a practical approach towards things and problems, is what I think you learn from an MBA, which is very important. Yeah. So this is
Yeah,
these are
thank
my like 1, 2, 3.
um, Harneet.
Sure, sure. So I've jotted down a few points. So I'll just reiterate some of the entire thing that has happened. So one, definitely, I agree with Shikha's point that it gives you a 30,000 feet view. It gives you a broader perspective. For example, just stating a few example, I did not know what web scraping is. College told me what web scraping is, and it is a beautiful tool that can be used to just bring in all the prospects in one place. I did not know what Google Analytics is. Again, a very simple tool to use. Again, was taught in college and can be used beautifully in your business. Did not know what data visualization is. Did not know what Power BI is, Tableau is. Again, taught in college, and can data can give you, I think, enormous amount of insights and enormous amount of things that you can do with your business. So I think that is one broader perspective thing that adds up to your life and your business. Second, I'd say you might not be using all the jargons that are out there, as Rushabh mentioned. For example, ARPU is there, for example, EBITDA is there, contribution margin is there. But these are basic terms which are used in everyday life, uh, which might not be very, very relevant at this moment in your business. But once you start using all of these terms, once you start moving in ARPU, once you start moving in EBITDA, you understand that very small efforts can increase your ARPU, very small efforts can increase your EBITDA. And I think plugging in all these terms give you a professional approach of thinking on how the business should be there. Then the third point I would say is it gives you a flavor of life on how life is. The entire program gives you a flavor of life. The entire program, it is, I would say, a full circle of life. On you come, you start with really hard work, then you bag a job, you are successful at the end after bagging a job. Obviously this program is not about bagging a job, but more into moving into your business and making it better. I think the Great Lakes team is not, we being a part of it, is not in that 70-hour debate or 90-hour debate. I think we are much above average and we are working much harder than what people are stating out there. So that would be the third point. The whole final point would be, it is time of life. You need to have fun. So just don't want to put pressure on people. It is something that you relish all your life with. It's been six years or 5 years that I've done my MBA, and we still connect on call with my friends. We still are on a video call, and we just relish the memories that we've had on campus. So that was a beautiful journey that we had, and it is time of life, and one should definitely experience it. I would definitely vouch for it. If you're not experiencing it, you are definitely losing out on something. So you need to have that FOMO, and you need to just take that up. So that would be my closing words. Thank you.
Yeah. And we haven't talked about it, but I think where the campus is located in Mahabalipuram, on the East Coast Road, it's a beautiful place.
Yes.
Right. There are a lot of resorts around, beaches around. So I'm sure there'll be ample opportunity to have fun as well. I was in Chennai, till yesterday, and the weather right now is absolutely awesome. Right, this is the monsoon season, and it was fantastic weather. So yeah, so I'm sure you'll have opportunities to have fun during the program as well. Yeah, Rishabh, uh, your
But sir, we
one or
still,
two things that you think they should be doing.
but we still don't know how this PGPM guys are able to enjoy more than we 2 years DICE program. We still discuss that how this guys really managed to enjoy in the 1 year program, and we are not able to enjoy this 2 years program. All these deadlines which Harneet
I think
talked
it's
about.
always less is more, right? When you have less of anything, you
Definitely.
value it more.
Yeah.
Right?
Very
You tend to
interesting, very
make
interesting.
more use of it. Right? If you think you have a lot of time, then you tend to, okay, I'm not in a rush. Right? But
Yes.
when you know you're on a clock, right, you value every moment, you cherish every moment.
Uh, So, my learnings are quite simple. Just connect the dots. Okay. Don't jumble yourself into each and everything. Uh, Try to focus on small things, implement it, learn it, and then move forward. Practicality, as Shikha said, is really important. You should know the practical world. It's not always about getting emotional and taking such decisions. Once you are in a business, you have to make sure what practically looks like. Uh, you will be in a dilemma there. You are feeling very emotional for that person also, and you are looking at a practical world as well. It would be very hard for you to take certain decisions. Train yourself for that. You should train yourself for the upcoming future, what you are going through, what you're going to be on that situation. So train, look, talk to people, understand them, understand the psychology of business, understand the psychology of customers, people, because in business you have to understand the psychology of the other person which you are going to talk about and which you are going to tackle it. So psychology plays a very important role, right? You should know the market, you should know each and everything, but small steps at a time. Don't just go in and haste that I want to learn finance, I want to learn marketing, I will learn tech as well, I'll learn business analytics as well. No, Just make sure that you have certain priorities, what you have to look after. Once you get good enough in that, just have the knowledge of other things as well there, so that don't the other people in your organization don't have the capability to fool you, right? They should know that we are talking to a right guy, we are talking to a sensible person. No matter he has no vast knowledge in that, but he has certain knowledge in that. Certain. So that you can communicate, you can clear your doubts, you can come with new strategies. When I know we talk about, we now we have started implementing budgeting in our organization for the upcoming financial year. So it's like I need to know what is a budget, right? What planning I should do. And I'm not I don't belong to a finance background, but still, certain things, things are there. You need to ask them. You need to clear your mindset. Don't hesitate to ask any question. No matter it would be worst. You are being joked around. No matter, no. That don't think that. No, I have been into a situation where I thought that if I ask Raj sir this question, he might be thinking that no, it's not good question. No, I literally asked him the worst questions also, I guess. But he really replied me and answered me each and every question, which is clearing me and my doubts today very well. So I have came out with that. There's no problem asking certain questions, right? It's good to ask question. It's good to get clearer and clearer more, because you will face some situations, some sort of situations in the future. Life is not that, life is too small for that. So connect the dots, learn practically, don't hesitate to ask any questions, don't degrade yourself that, and don't demotivate yourself. If it's fine to get a failure. Failure will really help you. So I know guys like me, I got lots of failures, but failures helps a lot. Mistakes, as Gautam sir said in the beginning, mistakes are really important to do. If you don't do mistakes, you won't learn. Also, you should learn from others' mistakes as well, and you should think that what they did and what not, one and what I should do. So everything is important. I wish best of luck to all of you. And I wish that what Raj sir told, I really want that once in future, yes, Raj sir will say that 90% of the business comes from family background. So we really want India to grow vast. And my motto is very simple. I want to give employment in India as much as I can. And we are really planning very hard on that, right? I'm making sure that we are growing faster and faster, and I give employment, and we do good for other people, we do good for our community, we good indeed will good do for our India as well, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Rishabh. Professor Raj, your final closing comments, then we'll wrap up.
No, I mean it's just absolute delight listening to alumni, talk like this. So I don't want to add too much to what they have said. I mean, I'm so glad that every time I listen to alumni, I mean their their wisdom and their experience is shaping up. So I've already told them I'm going to get all of them back to campus and talk to our students. That's the thing. So I think what you've said is really right. So I always urge my students to only do three things. Please read a lot, because that's the only way you get to know about things. Talk to a lot of people, please network, go talk. And then third is please be enthusiastic, because nobody wants to work with somebody who is not energetic or enthusiastic. So yeah, please read in all forms. You can listen and read and read, talk and read, whatever, but do that. Please reach out to people, ask questions, go out, network, hustle, as some people say. And the third is please be energetic. I mean, enthusiasm is so infectious. I mean, if you see a person who is positive, nobody wants to go run away from them. But the opposite is always true. When you see somebody morose, you want to be careful. You want to run away. So those are my big things, and I think you guys have done a great job. I love to, as I said, I'm just so proud of all of you. So thank you so much for what you do. Please do more of it. And me and Gautam will bask in your glory all the time. Yeah. Thanks, Gautam. It was fantastic being here.
Yeah. So it's been a delight. And once again, thank you for taking the time on a weekend. I know for all the entrepreneurs, like, that's the one day that you have off. Let's say if that is the case, right? If at all. So I appreciate you taking the time. So thank you everyone, and to all the prospective students. Hope this has been a useful session, and hope you have a uh, great journey once you get into the program as well. Let us sign off and wish you all happy Pongal, Sankranti, and Baisakhi. So everyone have a great time. Thank you.